morning, fifth graders. It's Monday. It's your last full week of school for the school year, and we are still working on the stepping up to sixth grade. We're going to do lesson 2. Still dealing with some integers, okay? Remember that an integer is a counting number, okay? And its opposite. So we've got positive and negatives and the number 0. 0 is a point on the number line, okay? So you've got to remember that that's what makes up integers. Counting numbers and the opposites of them and the 0. We talked the other day on Friday, you probably did your lesson with just noticing integers and giving me the opposite, which I told you really is called the the opposite of it, which is just the negative. And then when I ask you, the absolute value is just how far that number is away from 0. Okay, so today we're going to compare and order integers, all right? And I showed you this on Friday, but I just wanted you to remember that the further to the right you go, the greater your number is. Okay, the further from 0 going to your right, the greater the number. Same thing here though, okay? If you're here and you're going to the left, anytime you're going to the left, okay, it's going to be less. So if you were here on the number line in the negative territory and here on the negative, this number, even though it might be a 12 or a 13, is going to be larger than this, maybe a 1 or 2. Negative 1 or 2 compared to negative 12 or 13, okay? So you also make sure that you understand when I say negative, that really means the opposite of, okay? So that minus sign is just meaning the opposite of 4 would be negative 4, all right? So the further to the left you always go, the less the value. The further to the right you go, the greater the value, all right? So you're asked on one of the pages to order or put these on some sort of a number line or order them or whatever. So if they ask you what kind of tools could you use to help you understand integers, you could say a number line, you could say a thermometer, something like that. Those things could help you understand negative numbers and positive numbers, the integers, okay? So if I had a negative 7, the opposite of 7, 4, the opposite of 2 or negative 2, and a 5, I could do the number line, there's 0, okay? 5 is all the way to the, the right, so that's my greatest number, okay? Then 4, then we have 0, obviously 0 is not there, but that's just kind of a standing starting point for you to understand. Then you have negative 2, because I'm going this way, but then I have negative 7. And yes, negative 7 is less than negative 2. Or think about it, the opposite of a 7 is greater than the opposite of a 2, okay? Because it's going further down to the right. So this has a lesser value. Here I could have said that 5 obviously is greater than 4. There's all kinds of statements there that you could make using the greater than, less than symbols, okay? Again, I want you to remember that you're just dealing with numbers that are the opposites of each other. So let's say you had, for example, you had a letter A, okay? And then you had a, that represents a number. And then you have a letter that's B, and it represents a number that is greater, okay, than A. Could you say, or would you agree with me that if I said the opposites of those numbers represented by letters is going to be true of the same? Will the letter B be larger than the letter A if I do opposites? Okay, so I want you to think about that for a second. If B is bigger than A on the number line, on the positive section, is that going to be true with the opposites at the other end? And your answer should be no. Because if B is greater here, okay, B is greater here, that means it's going to be over here, number-wise, and that means it's going to be less because it's further to the left, okay? This one is further to the right, so that's always going to be greater. But here, when you go farther left, it's going to be of a less value, okay? So just keep that in mind. I think that might be one of the questions you're asked on your assignment today. Just be very careful writing your numbers, making sure that you use the opposite sign when you're needing to, and follow directions, and have a great day. Bye.